Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight at Stashaway HQ here in Singapore. Thank you also to everyone who's joined virtually. I'm Irini Pernaras, and I'll be your host tonight. I'm a wealth advisor here at Stashaway. And before we begin, I'd like to share a little bit about the She Invests Masterclasses. We've been hosting them on a variety of different topics, and we have more coming up in the next weeks. Our mission has always been to empower women and close the wealth gap by financial inclusion. And financial education is also a key priority for us, as we have been hosting webinars and live events since 2018. So of course, men are very much welcome to join these events. And tonight's session is powered by Stashaway Reserve, which provides accredited investors access to crypto and private markets. So far on the Stashaway platform, we have been providing access to general investing, cash management through liquid products such as ETFs, through a variety of different portfolios. And with Stashaway Reserve, we provide access to private markets, so by lowering barriers to entry with lower minimums. And we also provide clients with wealth advisory services, financial planning sessions, portfolio reviews, and analyses. So, and in general, with Stashaway Reserve, we aim to revolutionize the way accredited investors access private markets. All right, so first question, how many of you have heard of NFTs before? Can I ask you to answer that through the Slido link? Make sure you scan the QR code. I think we have 24 answers so far, 25. Okay, so I think everybody has heard of NFTs, which is good. Good starting point. And the next question is, how many of you have owned an NFT before? Okay, so 75%, majority has not owned an NFT before. Cool, all right. So without further ado, I would like to welcome our speakers for tonight, three wonderful ladies. First up, we have Journey, who is the social media manager at Nansen, a blockchain analytics company with 100 million, more than 100 million crypto wallets and an active NFT collector. We then have Siobhan, who is a 3D virtual model creator and NFT artist, and she's the founder of Gen V Agency. She was also named 30 under 30 in Asia by Forbes in 2020. And last but not least, Seren is a film producer, entrepreneur, and co-founder of Send Joy. And she's the first Singaporean to have won a BAFTA for an animated short film, Poles Apart. So thank you, ladies, for joining me tonight and all of us here. Can I ask you to tell us a little bit more about yourselves and about your involvement in crypto markets as well as the NFT space?
Hello. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. So yeah, my name is Journey, and currently I'm working at Nansen as our social media manager. So I think my story with crypto started quite early when I first discovered Bitcoin. I had a housemate who was mining Bitcoin on his laptop. That was like maybe 2011, 2012. But unfortunately, I didn't appreciate what the Bitcoin was, so I didn't aid in then. But over the years, I started to sort of notice that media start to, mention Bitcoin in terms of price. Of course, whenever there's like a price pump, people pay more attention. And then I realized, okay, Bitcoin is still here. It's not just, a geeky experiment anymore. And of course, with Ethereum launched in 2015, I think, then you realize, okay, blockchain is more than just like a payment. And then now you can start to build like applications on top of it. So that really piqued my interest. And I kind of like started to like buy crypto, traded on my own, and realized I'm not really a good trader. But I do believe that in the long term, this industry really will sort of continue to grow and need different talents. So I decided to join full time. Before Nansen, I was also working at a crypto exchange and another crypto data sort of analytics company. And I think because of blockchain, data is transparent, is immutable, and therefore it has a lot of opportunity for us to understand what exactly people are doing on chain when we have this new digital economy. So I'm super happy to get involved. And of course, I will show Nansen a little bit more later tonight to sort of share with you how you can use Nansen as a tool to sort of discover and analyze NFTs. Thank you.
Thank you. Siobhan?
Hi, my name is Siobhan. So I was a fashion and advertising photographer for about 10 years. And it was going really, really well until end of 2019. I was like, oh my God, I love my job. This is wonderful. And then COVID happened. And that happened. It wasn't great. That stole my thunder. And so it was during that time I decided to pivot over to doing 3D. So my idea was basically that if I was not able to work with real models, I would just go and make my own. So I spent my whole of 2020 learning 3D. And it was always with the aim to go to commercial clients and say, hey, if you want, I have virtual models for your campaigns, yada, yada. And I was already creating all this proof of concepts on putting my models in these situations and different backgrounds and outfits. And then NFTs came about. And I was like, oh, this seems techy and my art is kind of connected to this very techy future. Let's see how this goes. And so I'm a person who never had interest in general finance and less so in crypto because it's got a steep learning curve. And so for me, when I entered the NFT space, I was just blown away about how interesting this space is. Although again, the learning curve was very steep, but I was able to mint and right from the beginning, whatever I minted was able to sell quite quickly. I was very fortunate with the response. And so since then, I've just been 100% in the NFT space, being a creator, creating artworks. It's been pretty cool. I've got the opportunities to do a book cover. I've got the opportunities to have my work shown at the Venice Biennale, and this is all through NFTs. So yeah, that's just for me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Sean here. So actually my crypto journey started with memes. Yeah. So the first crypto that I bought, the first coin that I bought is actually the Doge coin. Yeah. Because I thought it was quite funny. A lot of my friends were buying it. So I was like, hey, okay, let's buy it for fun and see what happens. Yeah. And in fact, last year during April Fools, me and my co-founder, we operate this platform called Sandjoy. It's basically a creative platform where people can ask for creative service from some creators, you can compose a song and all of that. So we made an April Fool's meme where we told everybody that we are getting into NFTs, and it was supposed to be a joke, but everybody thought we were serious, and people started congratulating us on LinkedIn. So we are like, okay. Yeah, this is getting real. Okay, so then we started to look into NFTs, but we were not fully into it because we couldn't find an angle for NFT. How does it link to Sandjoy? Until one day, me and my co-founder, we were in Korea. Then we climbed up Namsan, and then actually at the peak we saw a lot of love locks, and at the peak. Then we were like, hey, because what we do is something like a greeting card service. So we're like, hey, since the data on the blockchain can't be deleted, if somebody sends a greeting card in the blockchain world, is it a love lock that's there forever? So then we came up with the idea of making NFT greeting cards. So we actually got about 40 creators to work with us over Christmas and Valentine's Day, and we released about 70 NFT greeting cards. So we built a bit of some tech around it. We made a platform because the creators find it very difficult to learn how to download the MetaMask wallet and go through all of that. So we made a simple drag and drop platform where they can just drag and drop and get an NFT out of it. Yeah. So that was our first foray into NFTs. And right now, me and my co-founder, we are going back to our filmmaking roots because we find that there are a lot of like really big NFT projects coming up, like a lot of blue chip NFT projects, and we do want to work with the projects and their owners to make their JPEGs move. So we look at the avatars and we think that there's a lot of story behind it. So we hope to turn this into like film and games and other IP products.
Super interesting. Thank you all for sharing. So I would like to start with the basics. How would you explain an NFT to your friends and family? And what does an NFT mean to you on a personal level? Maybe Journey, we start with you.
Sure, thank you. I think in a nutshell, NFTs is really just a proof of ownership. Basically, whatever you own, it could be anything. Of course, there are different types of NFTs. It could be art, gaming items. Of course, the most popular ones are the profile pic, PFPs. So I guess if you are a collector of art or collectibles of anything in real life, NFT is sort of like what is happening in the virtual life. And because, as we know, we probably have more online presence, or like people who play games, you spend a lot of time building a character, you spend a lot of money to acquire like rare skins and items. But I guess one of the challenges is you don't really own these things, and it's very hard for you to sort of like resell on the secondary market. So NFT kind of like provide that opportunity, especially I think the joke in this space is like right click and save, right? When you look at, oh my God, this is an NFT, it's just an image, it's just a video. Why do you have to pay for it? You can just like sell it. And before like blockchain and NFT happened, that was the case. Like digital artists can't really, sell their art, and they have to work with like maybe studios and other centralized sort of like companies to contribute their art. But with NFT, they can really just, connect with their collectors and fans and let them know like this is like one-of-ones or limited edition artworks that you can collect and you can sell. And for the artists, sometimes there's a built-in royalty. I think that's the beautiful part. So as long as your NFTs is traded on the secondary market, you can continue to generate this income. So I think, yeah, that's just amazing. And yeah, over to Siobhan.
So for me, I've always thought the words and like NFT, like non-fungible token, I've always found the name to be like, it means nothing. Like, why did we choose this name? It's like non-fungible token doesn't make me want to learn about it. And for me, like I believe it's just how you see it, I guess. Like for me, I just see it as digital asset. And the question I always ask my friends who want to learn about it is, do you believe in a virtual future? Because if you believe in a future that's going to be very virtual, this makes complete sense. If you don't, it's going to be very hard to sell it to you. Because like for me, when I look at the kids nowadays, they are on like Fortnite, they are on all this metaverse, all these games. And like there's no online and offline to them, right? It's all just this seamless connection where I'm just like, oh, I'm going to go find my friends. Where? Online, to them, it's just like, it's the world they live in. And so like eventually, they are the future and we will grow old. And so like because of that, I believe that they are the future, and with this technology that's so seamless for them, it makes sense that we're going towards that direction. And also because when you play games, for me, when I play games, I'm the sort that I will like find ways to get rare outfits. I will put a little trinket at the end of my gun, even though it does absolutely nothing for it. All the games I play, I will change the outfit, change how my character looks. And for me, it's just something I enjoy doing to represent myself in this virtual avatar, right? And so in the future, what I believe is NFTs, all the kind of NFTs people purchase is just a representation of who they are in the virtual world. The art they buy, the fashion they buy, the music they buy, all those kind of things is just a representation of the character they want to be represented in the virtual future. So for me, this is where it's going. And that's how I sell it to my friends. Yeah.
Yeah, to me, I just to expand on what both Journey and Siobhan have said, I feel that NFTs is how technology has enabled art to become assets. Yeah, so I think to make it into a simple example, in the past when Picasso made a drawing. Like for somebody to copy Picasso's drawing, like they have to redraw the whole thing. Like and historians now, like there's always a way to find out, okay, this drawing is fake because it doesn't have the certain stroke or something. But in the digital world, somebody just right clicks and saves and it's exactly the same copy. There's no way to find out, okay, which is the original. But with blockchain and the technology, there's now a digital imprint. So we do know like, okay, which one is the original one, which one has value. Yeah. So I think because of this, it has enabled like creators like Siobhan and many other artists to be able to sell their art as assets to other people. Yeah.
I think you've answered what I was going to ask next about what do you feel is the purpose of the NFT and how it's different to physical collectibles or even luxurious items like cars, shoes, bags. What would you say to that? Anything to add?
I think, yeah, I guess actually there are companies who are exploring using NFT. Before NFTs, they're also exploring like blockchain technology to sort of like verify the authenticity of maybe wine or other items. I guess, but NFT being sort of like a digital native token, you can see when it was issued, whether it's issued by the sort of like owner of the art. But I guess physical item and NFTs, there's still like a bridge. You still need to trust like a third party to bring the digital items to NFT. But overall, I think NFT has the sort of benefits is that proof of ownership, proof of transaction. We know who at what time pay how much. And all this, I think it's just amazing data that, of course, Nansen analyzes. And I think that's a way sort of like to help you understand how the industry has grown as well. While off-chain data is a little bit more like fragmented and sometimes is, like sort of behind a wall that we can't really assess. So I guess that if like what Siobhan say, the future is, very virtual. We are building this digital economy. I think NFT will play a very, very crucial part to connect all the different. To be honest, most of the things in the world are non-fungible, right? Like humans are non-fungible. I mean, like, a lot of assets, house, real estate, all these things. I think personally, I hope Singapore can be the leader of like adopting NFT for property, title, deeds, because each parcel plan, each building, each unit, they are NFTs, non-fungible. So I think the future will likely happen.
So we've seen a huge inflow of funds into the NFT space, especially last year. I believe it was around 40 billion, the value of transactions at the end of 2021. So I'd like to visit this topic of value. Where does the value really stem from for NFTs? Why do some people fundamentally think it's worthless and some of them value it really highly and pour lots of money into a piece of NFT? Saran, would you maybe like to start?
Sure. So I think there's also a value in the being part of the community. Yeah, because a lot of the NFT collections, they have like 10,000 drawings or like 1,000 drawings. So when you buy the collection, you enter a community on Discord. And also sometimes the community is quite powerful, like because they organize events, activities, and things that the members can do together. And sometimes networking opportunities also arise from these communities. In fact, to me, I think that the power in decentralization is that giving up a little to gain so much more in return. As a project creator, the project owner, maybe they give up some of the IP for the work that they create, but you have like a big community behind it helping you grow all of these together. And I think being part of the community member is something that is quite satisfying for me. Yeah, because I can see like how people from different parts of the world are actually working together to grow this project. Yeah.
So for me, I would say the question of value is very interesting to me. Like why is anything valued at what? It's basically we as a society decide this is what is worth, right? Why do people ask, why is Justin Bieber so popular? Why is he so overrated? And to me, it's just like, because enough people, young girls and older girls and men apparently like listening to his songs. And so it's just because someone like you don't agree to the value of something doesn't mean it is overvalued. It is just that there is this separation of what you think it should be compared to what the market all decides it to be, right? It's all about supply and demand. Pokemon cards, some people value it highly. Some people will be like, stop hoarding all this nonsense, So it's really personal, like what you think is valuable and what you think is not. And I think it's just the market decides. If there is a demand for it, the value goes up. If there isn't, the value goes down.
Yeah, I think, you girls nailed it. Maybe just a little bit more. I agree with what Seng said. I think when it comes to NFTs, if we look back at, maybe the first like really explosion of NFT in terms of like a price and trading was probably CryptoPunks. Maybe some of you recognize it in mainstream media with like pixel sort of like figures, and people were like, paying like tens of thousands. And of course, the price even like went even higher. I think in terms of like that, people are looking at historical value because like CryptoPunks was kind of like the first so-called like profile pic NFT collections, and people who were like OG in the space, like Ethereum, like DeFi OGs who have made it. And then they feel the connection. Like when you have that sort of profile pic, and then you see, oh, your friends have the same profile pic. It's the community. And then, of course, when you have the community, and then at the same time, you just like feel like this is the sort of like the next thing that connects us, and then the next thing that is like tradable, right? And I guess PFP is like community value. And also, to be honest, the most valuable asset we all talk about is time. And then so when I look at NFTs, a lot of them, I look at them as brands. So when they launch like new NFT collections, sometimes most of the brands or most of the enterprises fail, but the brands that can capture your imagination, can really engage like collectors and future collectors, I think those are the ones who win in the long term. Of course, the other type of NFTs like in-game items such as Axie Infinity, there are people who, during COVID lost their jobs, but, by, sort of like playing Axie, owning the Axios NFTs, they can actually play and earn, of course. So that kind of like is another way of like using blockchain and NFTs as a way to, I guess, make a living. Of course, in terms of value, like how sustainable it is, like the tokenomics, I think that's a lot more complex in the long term. So we have yet to see
more innovations to come in that sense. So at the beginning, crypto has been quite a male-dominated industry. How can women stand out in the space? What do you think? Siobhan, maybe we start with you.
I mean, I think that if it's male-dominated, women stand out just from being there. Just like, oh, you're not a dude. Wow. But like, I mean, like, I actually find that there's a lot of women in the space, I find one thing very interesting in all this very male-dominated industries is that there are women. It's just you're not paying attention to the ones who are always there. So it's always like, how do we bring more in? Pay attention to the ones you currently have, maybe. But how do we stand out? Yeah, just be around, be willing to answer, be willing to say, yes, I'll come to a panel for Stash Away. So yeah, stuff like that.
I agree with Siobhan. I think we already stand out. Yeah. So actually, a lot of times I've been to meetings where I'm the only girl in a like group full of guys. I think actually the guys are quite welcoming. Yeah, like they want more girls in the scene, and usually the girls get some. Actually, the girls get more attention, like within even the Discord groups and all of that. Once you say that, hey, I'm a girl, like then more people come talk to you. Yeah, so because there are so few of us, but I think the point is really not to stand out, like, but to be able to be part of the community and like just be like everybody else. But I think what women can do in this space is like be builders, like be entrepreneurs, like be part of the community and add value to the community. Yeah, that's more important.
Agree. I was about to say, yeah, I think the event today is, she invests and then all the panelists are female. So in a sense, we do have the opportunity because I think men don't really get asked to take part simply because they're men. But sometimes for us, we do have the opportunity to sort of share what we do and what we think. So, and also what Siobhan mentioned, I guess it's if you look for blue, you will see a lot of blue color. If you look for red, you will see red. So it's about recognizing the women that, have strong leadership. For example, my former company, Elliptic, Simone is a CEO and she's a woman. And also our head of marketing, Ingrid, she's a woman. Siobhan's woman, Sun, we're all women here. And I guess, just by sort of interacting, contributing, and I guess this is not just a men and women, but together there's a lot of things that we can, contribute and build together.
Absolutely. We've seen a huge drop in the crypto market recently. How has interest in the NFT space been affected due to this market correction?
To be honest, I feel that on Twitter is still very energetic. There's a lot of people talking about their NFT projects every day, telling people not to fart and trying to very encouraging atmosphere actually. Yeah.
Basically that, so my husband, he's in crypto, so his Twitter is the crypto Twitter timeline, and I'm in NFTs, but I'm in the art section, so our Twitter timelines are very, very different. He was telling me the sentiment is just not good right now. Everybody's oh, bear market, a lot of shit posting, blah blah. And I was oh, let me go see my Twitter timeline. It's just oh, art, a dog, art, oh, a cryptograph, okay. So it's I would say the NFT sentiment right now, at least from what I see, right, is still very bubbly, still very happy. But I would say that you cannot pretend that NFT is not part of the crypto ecosystem. So I feel there will be impact, maybe not yet, but it was probably coming.
Yeah, I think this is when I show Nansen data a little bit. So of course, Nansen, we have NFT data on a macro level. So you can see NFT indexes, and then you have NFT trends such as volume, active traders, things like that. So I was just looking at our trends dashboard, and I noticed that actually in terms of year-to-date trading volume, we have reached 6.5 million ETH, and that's about $19.5 billion. And actually that's more than the total trading volume in 2021, according to our report. So it's okay, not too bad. 5 months, we actually have, traded more sales than the whole year of 2021. And also in the last 30 days, we have about 1.6 million ETH. So that's about 3 billion if you take ETH price at 2000. So again, it's actually 28% more than 30 days ago. So that kind of proves that the sentiment in NFT, I think, again, is driven by individual projects. Of course, Bored Apes, right, and Bored Ape derivative projects, when they launch, always, there's a lot of minting and trading. Ultimately, I think NFT is still relatively, I wouldn't say it's not completely correlated to crypto, because ultimately you still need crypto, right, to sort of buy and trade NFTs. But because in crypto, we see there's a lot of institutional, sort of players, and but NFT is still pretty P2P. So maybe we are a little bit slower. And also a lot of people buy NFTs because they appreciate the art, for example, and they are not really flippers. And also in terms of active users and sellers, sellers and buyers, I would say that in the last week, let me recall the numbers, because usually I just look at a dashboard, but now I have to memorize it. So I remember in terms of weekly buyers, we have about 260,000, and sellers, we have only about 97,000. So when people always say NFT is a busy one-way street, a lot of people are selling, but not many people are buying. So according to data, that's not really the fact. So I would say the problem with NFT is it can be very illiquid. So because they're individual, assets and tokens. So there are definitely risk and certain challenges when it comes to like investing and trading. But overall, I would say we are still pretty strong. Again, depends on the innovation, depends on, like the company building their brand, engaging with the community. Overall, I think long-term optimistic. Yeah.
It's great. It's backed by data now.
You've touched upon the topic of NFT as an investment. So I'd like to go a little bit in that direction. How would you analyze NFT as an investment, and what do you look out for when choosing an NFT project to invest in or to support?
Okay, I think I would say if this is your first NFT, just buy the NFT that you really like, not because you want to make money out of it. So personally, I collect Siobhan's artwork. Of course, I know one day you'll be, like world famous, and my investment will be worthwhile. But I do believe that the people, like the team, it could be individual artists, right? But also individual like team members, because we know in crypto and NFT, there are a lot of like anonymous, anon teams. And sometimes it can be troublesome because like there are scandals and things like that. But okay, that's about the off-chain data, like sort of research that you can do on the people who created the NFT. In terms of on-chain data, of course, you can also look at how many NFTs are there in this collection, for example, how many unique holders. And then at Nansen, we have this very, very interesting label called Smart Money. So basically, Smart Money are the wallet, active trading wallet addresses that outperform the rest. So for example, we cover over 120 million addresses, but only about 4,500 addresses are labeled as smart money. So I guess this kind of like give us certain signal if we see there are a lot of like smart money, maybe minting this collection or holding this collection. Sometimes you want to like do some research and look into it. Maybe look at, the trading volume, whether there's liquidity. I think liquidity is quite important, just like what I mentioned earlier. And there are other like stats that you can look at, but ultimately, I think for the first time buyer, choose something that you like. I think just learn the process, like how to set up your wallet, how to, buy crypto and then make the purchase. Of course, make sure it's a verified account, a verified collection, because sometimes it can be like fraudulent. People just upload it to OpenSea or other marketplaces. So, yeah.
So for me, I think I really value the community. So when I learn about a project, I would check out the Discord channel and also check the Twitter. Like if the Discord channel has a lot of people funding the project, like they're being really negative, asking when, then it's probably not a very valuable community to me. Usually if it's a good community, people would like give a lot of suggestions on how to improve on the project and how to work together on the project. I believe that even if the floor price is low for such projects, there's a future in there because the community will drive it. Yeah.
I agree. I would also say it's, like when collectible projects started coming about, at the start, I saw a lot of, teams, they're just like, oh my God, collectible project, look at Bored Apes, you should do a project, right? And then so many projects came about. And I felt like a lot of these teams did not realize that the second they drop this project is a startup, like they have created a business and that they are now business people. And a lot of them, they found themselves in this situation where they were just not prepared to do this business long term, right? They were just like, oh, this looks fun. The technology is interesting. I wanted to do the art for it. Let's do it. And they did it. And they were like, oh no. So like, I feel like now that it's been quite a while since like collectibles have been around, I feel like there's a basic expectation of like, if you're going to do this, you know what's going to happen after that. You know that you have a community to take care of. You know what you need to build in order to get their attention. So I feel like it's more than just, like it's paying attention to the team. Like, do they have the experience? Like, do they have any experience in business? Do they have any experience in handling a startup? Like it's all of those things where they have the right mindset and experience in building. So it's also trying to figure out like, who these team people are. Are they just all anonymous or do they actually have background experience? But also I've seen very experienced teams still like fail. So it's not fail safe.
There's no guarantee.
There's no guarantee.
Not investment advice.
Yeah, not investment.
How should one think about NFT exposure as part of their entire investment portfolio and broader investment portfolio?
I think probably very conservatively, because if you look at NFT as certain like collectibles and art, maybe ask yourself how much of your net worth are you willing to put aside for collectibles, art, and sometimes it can be very illiquid assets. And I guess, but that being said, I do encourage everyone to sort of like just explore and sort of like understand how it works. Again, you will be attracted to different community, like what Sun says, and that's how you build the relationship. And that's also how you find out more about like where the industry is going, whether you're into art, you are into gaming, metaverse, like virtual land. There will be different types of like NFTs and like startups and community that you're attracted to. So I think from there, you can probably like, just dig in a little bit more and then start collecting.
And how does one get started in investing in NFTs? Do you have any recommendation in terms of platforms or apps to use?
Nansen.
Okay, Nansen is to do like, with Nansen, you can of course do discovery. So you have like 24-hour NFT marketplace. You can check all the hottest, like most traded NFTs. That's a good place to sort of like get an understanding what is probably trending right now. And then of course, again, buy NFTs that you like. So I will show Siobhan, I do have an NFT. But I think overall, really, depends. I also know people who are just into gaming, right? So maybe they're attracted to in-game assets because they believe in like owning the gaming items or skins that you spend so much time, playing and building. I think that could be another area, of investing.
I think on a quite superficial level, since like it's a women's program, like I have to say that I would say that NFT is a bit like the clothes in the virtual world. Yeah, so that's why I completely agree that you should first buy something that you really like. You must like the artwork, you must like the community. Don't think too much about investing yet for your first NFT. Yeah, so what I do is sometimes I go to OpenSea and then I check out the top 100 projects, and then I use the filter to filter the cheapest to most expensive. Then I zoom in on like a range that I can afford. Then I click into it and then I learn more about the project. I start that way. Yeah.
It's like fast fashion.
Very, very good point. Okay, I would like to share like what I did sometimes on Nansen. So basically you can filter like, for example, mints, right? You can see the mint volume is 0. That means it's a free mint. And then sometimes I would just click into it. And then especially if there's a lot of like smart money minting, I would be like, okay, this is almost free. I just need to pay the gas fee. That's a good way to start. I think even on OpenSea, there are some NFT collections. The floor is relatively low. And if you like the art, why not? If you feel like joy when you look at it. So yeah, get one.
And do you need crypto to buy NFTs, or can you also buy it using cash, fiat money?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I believe on OpenSea, looks rare. There's more sort of like crypto native marketplaces. You do need to use crypto. But Nifty Gateway, I think Henny as well. Henny is the platform that helped Damien Hirst issue his first NFT collection called The Currency. So they do accept USD, like fiat currency. So I guess like probably Coinbase NFT, because they want to onboard like, more people into the space, and then just to make the sort of like payment more seamless.
Actually, on OpenSea now you can use the MoonPay to buy credit card. To use credit card to buy crypto, and then use the crypto to buy NFT. So you don't have to use another platform. It's all done on OpenSea.
Super interesting. Didn't know that. And as we're coming to a close, just the last question. What would you say are the main issues with investing in an NFT? I guess we've touched on the illiquidity aspects. Is there anything you'd like to add in that regard?
That it will be worth nothing. It's a possibility.
just have a pretty artwork, digital art worth nothing. Yeah.
I think for me, the issue is not with buying, but with selling. I always don't know when to sell. Yeah.
Same. I think I paper handed too many, like the good ones.
I think I diamond handed too many times.
Oh, the ones that we diamond hand are the ones, not mourning. But yeah, I guess liquidity is one thing. And then like timing the market, I guess like it's not just unique to NFT, like all financial markets, timing the markets is always very difficult. Like when you buy low, sell high, buy the bottom and sell the top, that's almost impossible. I guess other challenges, liquidity, and then like maybe just knowing when to buy and sell. I think another one we probably mention as well is sometimes they're fraud, right? They're fake NFTs, like artists who are not, sort of like issuing their own artwork as NFTs are being like sold on OpenSea. So that's fraud. And of course, we have like a lot of rug pulls. So basically like scams, they're like project that's shilling on Twitter. And then like everyone was like going to mint. And then when the mint, they realize, okay, they're not going to deliver. You're not going to even receive a JPEG for your mint. So there are always like challenges in that space because it's still so new. There are always, bad players trying to take advantage. So do your due diligence, like talk to the people in the community, just research a little bit more before you don't put like all your life savings, just a little bit.
Experiment. Great. So just as we're closing, I'd like to ask you what your favorite NFT is. And if you could tell us a little bit about it, we'll be showing the NFTs that each of you like. So Siobhan, first up.
So I don't know if you guys know Love, Death, Robots. I always love like all the different seasons. So like this is the season 3 came out and they actually hit QR codes in the episodes where you can scan and get an NFT. But not on the Singapore internet. You have to use VPN. But anyway, which I found out because I was like, my friend was like, oh yeah, you can find the QR codes. And I'm like, I'm a very detail-oriented person. And I can't find a QR code. It's very disappointing. Then I realized it was a VPN. But anyway, yes. So like, I enjoyed the show. I was like, oh my God, this was really fun. I really liked it. And I was like, oh, I could mint something from it. And so like for this one, it's a free mint and like there's no limit. So like the value is not very high. So for me, this was really just a memory thing. I really wanted to remember the day I watched it. I was like, oh, this animation is wonderful. I want to be able to mint it to have it in my wallet so I can always remember it by. And so this is one of my newest mint. Yay.
For me, my favorite collection is the Kiwami collection. So I own a few NFTs from this collection. I really love the art. It's an anime art style. And this is my second buy. My first one is not as pretty as this. So this is the radioactive collection. So the community is great. And we are also trying to work with them to develop an anime series of this collection.
Since Siobhan is here, no, actually, I genuinely love this collection because maybe you can share a little bit more about the creative process. Because I think this is the way that the artist and the collector co-create something. I thought that was incredibly innovative, like very, very new in the space. Again, that shows like, talented and creative people. You can, you can always have like, besides your artistic talent, but also like how you engage the collectors and the community. So I really love it. And also, of course, the message behind the collection is beautiful. Love is love, like regardless of who you are, where you're from. Yeah. So really, thank you.
I'll share a little bit about the collection. So like this collection is called Love is Love. There's 500 pieces. And basically it's based on the idea that love is love. And so when I was creating it, for me, I always liked the art that I could see myself in it. So I thought, wouldn't it be interesting if I could get people who are buying the pieces, the people who are minting the pieces in a way where they could influence the end results. So what I had done was that I allowed the minters 2 variables they could choose from. They could choose gender and sexuality. So perhaps if they choose female and they choose gay, they get a female-female combination. And if they choose like male and straight, they get a female-male or male-female combination. So in a way, it was a bit like a survey on the NFT community. And it was really, really fun. Like I got really good feedback from it. I got to do my art and send a message across. There was no rarity in my collection at all. Like it was not input into the code to have rarity, because I believe love is love. It should all be equal. So it was a really, really fun project. And this is why one of the reasons as an artist, I really enjoy like doing NFTs in this technology, because like I feel like it allows me to do things that I previously would not be able to do. Like coming in the future, like even right now, there's a lot of people who are doing dynamic NFTs, which are basically NFTs that can change according to real world variables, which is like so fun and so exciting. I feel like as a creative, it just expands more on like what I can do with my art and the message I want to bring across. So yeah, this project, Idris Elba bought 3 of it. So that was really cool. Thank you.
Great. So just to add that as part of Stashaway Reserve, we're actually gifting 100 NFTs made by 5 women artists. So it's made by women for women. And yeah, we're giving them away to the 100 first female reserve clients. And you can visit the website to browse through a few more of the NFTs that we're going to be giving away. And also, as part of tonight's session, we are giving this promotional code, She Invests Reserve 2022, for free investing for 2 years for up to 50,000 Sing dollars. Okay, so we have a question by Anonymous. With current NFT projects, there is a grind to get a whitelist for mint. Is there a new, more efficient strategy for NFT projects to reach their target market without the need for WL? Does anyone want to answer?
Very, very good question. I think whitelisting was sort of like designed in a way that, because when a lot of people like a potential job of the NFT collections, and where everyone is minting, the gas price can be incredibly high. So the gas price is basically the fees that you pay when you make a transaction on Ethereum, for example. And sometimes the gas fees can cost more than the NFT value itself. And then the whitelist is basically, I think on one hand, is sort of to curb the gas. So as long as you have a whitelist, means you have the sort of like opportunity, the right to mint, basically is to buy this NFT directly from the issuer. But at the same time, it also, people realize it's how you create FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. Because NFTs usually in collection, there's a limited number. And then if this is a very popular one, everyone is talking about it, a lot of people want to buy. But yeah, that also create the issue where, you know, these popular NFT projects will just make you do crazy things, right? Some of them, they will make you like create art, make videos, and then you have to jump through all the hoops. And sometimes people can spend days and a lot of time and without getting the whitelist. Unfortunately, I don't think there's an easy solution, because at the end of the day, it's like demand and supply. It's almost like, I remember maybe over 20 years ago, there was like a Hello Kitty craze in Singapore, and people are literally just like queuing for hours, right, to buy your Hello Kitty. I think that's like a similar, you know, scenario. Imagine McDonald's say that, okay, now instead of queuing outside the shop, you can apply to get a proof of like ticket to buy this Hello Kitty. I think it would just cause the same issue where people would just do crazy things to get the buying right.
Another question is if there is a company that you may know which works like an ETF where their goal is to buy and sell NFTs, more like eToro for NFTs. Would you know of any company like that?
Actually, you know, we do have NFT index. It's not tradable yet, but yeah, that's the goal. Like eventually people can invest like in NFTs without owning NFTs directly. So I think that's probably the next sort of like stage of, you know, development for NFTs.
And actually, a question directed to you again, Journey. What are your thoughts, if you know, what are your thoughts on the project STEPN, STEPN? Sorry, I have no idea what this is.
My God, I don't know.
Okay.
I think we're not supposed to FUD, but I think,
Oh, really?
oh, there's an expert. Wait, are
Would you like to
for or
answer?
against STEPN?
No.
We can. Okay, exactly. I like what Siobhan says. When like the price is going up, everyone is like, I'm making money. I don't care what exactly I own. Where does move to earn come from? How does the tokenomics works? Personally, I think you really need to, I mean, with the Terra and USDT pack issue, like you really should question where does the money come from? If the yield is too good, you have to ask like yield comes from risk. So if there's really, really good yield, chances are you are actually risking a lot. And this move to earn, like do anything to earn has become like, I mean, it's trending, it's hot. I mean, because with Axie Infinity, play to earn, see what happened to Axie Infinity. It's not easy to design a tokenomic that's sustainable, right, in the long term. So just be cautious. I mean, it's good to, again, explore. And if you got the sneakers, I mean, good, and walk around and see what you, yeah.
Thank you. Any questions from the floor here?
Yeah. Hi, my name is Anil. Thank you so much for the inputs. My question is around physical asset-backed NFTs. So ones which could be backed by, say, real estate or other physical assets which have a financial instrument behind. And so they can be yielding NFTs. What are your thoughts on those? Because those become more of a investment-driven NFTs opportunities. One, in terms of regulations, and two, to the point that you made about ETFs coming in, those would be then regulated, right? How do you see regulation evolve in NFTs getting mainstream into financial instruments?
That's a very good and tough question. I think we have to ask maybe in Singapore MAS what's their stance. But again, like there are different types of NFTs. If like you're just looking at collectibles, but again, because like NFTs can be tradable, so I believe in the long term, likely they will be regulated, but just how. And in terms of like physical asset-backed NFTs, that reminds me of Dapper Labs. I think some of you might have heard of NBA Top Shot, and CryptoKitties, right? So Dapper Labs actually, I think Rohan, one of the founders, he mentioned that at first, Dapper Labs, their vision was to actually use NFTs again for real estate, right? Like titles and all that. And then they realized when it involved, like property and all these things, it's not as simple as a commercial product. You have to engage with like government agencies, and then there's a lot of like regulatory and legal hurdles. So again, I think that would take effort, not just from, I think right now NFT is a lot of like bottom-up approach, like innovators, builders and all that. But in the long term, physical asset NFTs, you have to rely on, a third party, right? Like I say this StashAway office NFT, like I'm going to collect rent or whatever from you. But if it's not sort of like approved by, the building owner, the landlord himself, there's gonna be a lot of problems. So it's not a short-term, I think, sort of solution that we have now.
So my question is, how does NFT provide practical utility for the owner? Like, I think, I know it's rare and non-fungible, but the value is derived from something having an utility. And do you think integration of NFTs in GameFi and Metaverse will be that game changer of providing the actual utility for NFTs? And how do you think this will play out?
Sorry, I'm not sure if I got your question. Are you talking about the utility value of NFTs, especially in like GameFi and?
Yeah. So my question is, how does an NFT provides utility for the holder, the owner? We know it's non-fungible and rare, but the value is derived from it having a utility, basically. So do you think NFTs integration in Metaverse and GameFi will provide that value in the future, or do you think there is another option of NFTs providing a value to the holder?
I think the utility is based on every project, like depending on what the creator wants to give as utility to the holders. Like for example, some of the projects is like they provide some real world value, like you get some discounts off some clubs or like even crypto platforms. Yeah, some of the NFT collections they even give some physical objects, like you can exchange for like a really nice jacket, like which is like they will airdrop some or like they might airdrop even some new NFTs for you. So it's really dependent on the project. Yeah, but I guess for Siobhan's project, art itself is a utility. Like if you love collecting art, you think it's valuable, it is a utility.
Yeah, I think like I'm coming from the art side of NFTs. For us, we're artists, we do art, and the utility is the art. If you like it, please buy it. If you don't like it, it's okay, no problem. But yeah, I mean, like when it comes to collectibles, then it becomes a different question. Like people expect, like, oh, what do I get out of this? Like I saw a recent collectible where like they give you connections to all the coffee places around the US. But like again, if you're from Asia, then it doesn't make sense to hold it. So like it's all those different kind of projects, and like I feel like a lot of the utility in the future comes from like the metaverse, comes from the virtual world, comes from GameFi. But like in the current state, as we are building towards it, I'm seeing a lot of people try and figure out how can they give utility now in the present time. But of course, it's probably still not as fancy as what it could possibly be in the future. But people are thinking about it.
Okay. Actually, I have a question. It's more on regard on the artsy side of NFT, right? So okay, often when creators or even like gaming companies or whatever, when they announce, oh, we are gonna release an NFT, like if an artist want to release a series of NFTs, or if like a gaming company like Square Enix, they announce, oh, they have plans to want to launch some NFT projects, the fans would often have negative sentiments towards this move. So I think my question is, how can we improve the acceptability of the fans towards NFTs?
I think for that is really just to continue building and continue proving that it's worth it to be in this space, that something's happening. I mean, like the same as that when the internet came about, right? People were like, oh, this won't last forever, but clearly it lasted a long time because we're still using it now and everything's built on top of it. So I think it's ignoring the haters in a way and proving the use case, continuing to build and go towards it. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, this is a really good question, because even when we were working on Sandroy, we're trying to get creators to make NFTs with us. A lot of them were very afraid of their fans, like giving some negative feedback. In fact, there are some creators who got who had really toxic comments when they say that they want to start doing NFTs, because there's still some negative connotations about NFT, like it's a cash grab and all of that. But as Siobhan said, I think only time will tell. As long as we keep building and making good work, showing that there's value, like this is something that is sustainable and it will last long.
Hi, I'm Nicole. So I have a question, since this is a women-based forum as well, whether the panel has any thoughts on the world of women NFT, and considering it's quite a lot of hype around it and it's a women-based project. And the second question, I guess, is also whether you guys have any women-focused projects that you guys really like. Yeah.
I like the world of women. But I mean, very early on in the space, I was in a Twitter group for a bunch of women in the NFT space, and Yam, she was part of the group, so I got to know her very early on, and as she started building it, I was like, oh, cool. And then when she first dropped it, I was like, oh, gotta support a friend, so I really saw how it was built from there, like how she would talk to us about it. So I got to hear her perspective. I got to hear on why she wanted to do it. And also I feel like the team itself have been making some very clear choices on that is very business oriented on how they want to grow for the future, the hires they make. So I feel like it's an interesting one. And again, people will be like, in the NFT space, there are some blue chip NFTs like BAYC, yada, yada. But I'm also like this, the space has only boomed for a year. So what is blue chip? It's only been 1 year, So everything is a bit like, there's a bit of risk involved, obviously, but I feel like a lot of women have done well and are continuing to build. So I think it's a good sign. That's just my point of view. For other women projects, I feel like there's quite a few popping up here and there. Again, I'm not really paying attention as much on the collectible side, but there's definitely women doing it.
Yeah, I think what's great about the World of Women project is that they give commercial rights to their holders. So if you own a World of Women NFT, you can exploit it. You can exploit the IP like to make your own thing. Like you have a restaurant based on your avatar. Yeah. So other women projects that I'm looking at, there's one called BFFU. So I haven't bought it yet, but I've been researching, and there's one more called Search as well. Like so, these are some of the new ones that are coming up.
I guess they pretty much cover most of the, yeah, I think it's one of the definitely strongest women-led NFT collections. I think Pranksy, who is one of the very famous NFT collectors and traders, I think he bought almost 1,000 at some point, and it's also one of his most profitable trades. I guess, yeah, that shows like in NFT or in crypto industry, we do have like sort of like outstanding, you know, project builders and leaders who actually give this kind of exposure to women.
I have a quick question. You mentioned scammers and fakes. So as a newbie buying NFTs or investing in NFTs, how do you do your due diligence and make sure you don't accidentally fork out a bunch of money for a fake?
Personally, I would say go find a community that is not based on any collectibles, just a community of people who are interested in NFTs, and ask them, because people here, they have the experience, they've gone through, they've bought stuff and they've gotten scammed. So, and in the NFT space, I mean, like with every technology, there's going to be bad actors, right? So in this space, when there was a boom of money coming in, obviously the actors came in, the bad actors, and some of them are very, very smart, very insidious in the way they do things. So like people in the space, they get the experience of learning from like seeing how people get scammed, people getting scammed themselves. And so I feel like it's one of those things that if you go to a community and you be like, hey, I'm looking at something, but I'm not sure, like, what do you think? A lot of times I think people are very helpful in giving feedback, especially if it's from a very third-party neutral perspective, as opposed to going to the collectibles Discord and be like, are you guys for real? They'll be like, yeah, we're for real, man. Yeah, so I think it's finding people who have done it before and getting their asking for their advice.
NFT Asia.
Yes, also I have a community that I co-founded called NFT Asia again, but we are more focused on the art side, but we do have a collectible chat channel. Basically, it's this community of, it's a nonprofit for artists who are based in Asia or Asian artists. And so like in this space is there, because we are not a collectible project, we are not a DAO, there's no monetary sort of focus towards our community, is very much like, hey, we just hang out, talk nonsense, what do you eat? And then like also, you know, if you want to ask very new, like you want to ask questions about the NFT space, we give you a very diverse, but from a very neutral perspective. So communities like this are, I find, very helpful, but I'm sure like, you know, if you start to look around the space, you get to know who are the people who are buying a lot of NFTs. I think it's okay to just reach out to them. I feel like one of the most exciting thing about being in the NFT space is because it's so new that you have all these people who you would think that like, oh, they won't reply their DMs because they're so popular, but because it's so new, they could actually, you know, be responsive to you and be willing to help you out, and you get to have all this interaction with people that in the future might become like, you know, the leaders of the industry. But now you're just like, hey, so I got a question, and they'll be like, yes, sure, I'll help you out, because they've got the time to. So I think it's the willingness to be okay to ask stupid questions. Yeah.
Also, one thing to take note is like when you buy the NFT, make sure it's the official link, because sometimes the Google SEO might even pick up like the scammers links. So we have to be really careful. Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's very true. Like sometimes they have the verification mark. But always, I think, like what Siobhan mentioned, like if you're relatively new to the space, join Discord channels, NFT Asia, join Nansen Discord channels. We have very active community and also like customer support there. If there is an NFT that you want to like find out whether this is legit and what other community member thinks, there are always people willing to like share and help you like analyze a little bit.
Yeah, because I think also like people in the space, we want people coming in to have a good experience, right? We don't want you come in and be like, oh, I got scammed, lame, and then they leave, right? Like that doesn't help us grow the space. We want the space to grow. So like when people come in, we try to be helpful because we want you to have a good experience too. So I feel like it's okay to just come in and ask the questions, be like, hey, I'm here, I don't know anything, help me. And a lot of times people are like, oh, cool, what do you need help with? So yeah.
Yeah, hi there.
What makes some accelerate value, go up, 50%, 3 times, 4 times, multiple times, and then I guess secondly, now when you have an NFT, right? How do you create value for it? Like the one that Stashaway is going to give to my wife, how can we make it more popular? How are we going to create value for it? And, to make it, sellable.
Your first question is why some NFTs continue to yeah, that's a very good question. I think some NFTs, they probably have historical value, when some of the more like, we call it OGs, like original gangsters who've been in the space for very long, they will value NFTs like CryptoPunks, autoglyphs, or even art blocks, things like that. But I guess over time, you probably have seen like Bored Ape Yacht Club NFTs, and the price within 1 year, like just increased thousands of times. I think, again, they have very strong community and they're very strong, like sort of partnership and marketing. And when you have like celebrities using your NFT as their profile picture, that definitely give a boost to your collection. And people just want to like be part of that, the club, right? And of course, Bored Yacht Club also very, very good at sort of like giving the holders derivative NFTs, right? Like your mutant apes. And then recently they also have the land, right? And I think, and they issue a token, ApeCoin as well. So people just see that it's almost like ownership of a startup that you can continue to sort of like engage and potentially, earn from being there.
Yeah, I think like the NFT space is still very similar to the real world in that it operates on social proof. Right, like in the real world, you have all these influencers doing things, and everybody's just like, "Oh my God, this influencer is popular, therefore they are smart." Same thing in the NFT space. This person is popular, therefore whatever they buy must be amazing. It's unfortunate, but like I feel like there's no tech that would ever change human social behavior, and the popular person will always somehow have more power over the rest. And so like in the NFT space, it's still about social proof and still getting the attention of the people who have a say in a way. Like even my Love is Love, like when Idris Elba bought it, there was a pump. And like to me, it was such a clear proof of social proof, right? Because for me, like he wasn't even in the NFT space. My NFT was the first NFT he ever bought. And to me, it was just like, before he bought it, it was this art. After he bought it, it's the exact same art. But, social proof is a human behavior sort of thing. But putting that aside, I guess, on like how to create value is really, is the word utility, I guess, the word that everybody goes in the Discord and asks for. Is like, how do you give me value? And the thing about the NFT space is that it moves so fast. Like you can give them value this week, and then 3 weeks down, they're like, it's been too long, give me something new. So like there is definitely an expectation that's quite hard to hit. But it's really a lot of, as I see a lot of the collectibles do it, like it's really following a lot of what BAYC has been doing, where it's like, we give you this airdrop, we give you that, we give you this, we give you that. And then you feel like, oh, this space is always, this collectible project is always giving me something, so I should stay here because like it's valuable to be part of this community. So there's that. But like, I would say definitely the most wholesome side would be like, oh, the friends who have this collectible project, like it's me, it's you, I like each other, let's stay. That would be the more wholesome side of it. But I think there's still a lot of people in it constantly looking at like the floor and constantly like, okay, is it pumping? Is it pumping? I need to know that I'm making money. So it's a combination of all of that. Yeah.
Yeah, so actually I have a friend who exactly studied what you asked. Like he went to buy a Bored Ape and then he studied the price every time. So he realized that the relation is actually every time they release an announcement or if there's like some news related to the project. So like for example, when Justin Bieber bought an ape, like it went up a little bit. When the core team released a new feature or something, then the price also went up. So he realized that, oh, it's every time they release an announcement, then the price gets affected. Yeah. Then actually my co-founder, he used to work in the corporate department of like a listed company. So he said that actually an NFT collection is like a company IPOing, because suddenly you have 10,000 shareholders and every announcement that you release will affect like your share price. Yeah. So I think you can see that we
Are there any more questions from anybody? No? Okay. Well, in that case, thank you everyone for joining us tonight. Thank you to our panelists as well. We hope that you found the session insightful and that you are going to leave by having learned a few things and maybe exploring NFTs. Yeah, thank you very much.
Can I have a last call to action?
Of course, yes.
Visit Nansen.ai and we have a Nansen Lite. Basically, it's free. So you can just sign up with email, or if you have MetaMask wallet, just sign up and you can start exploring some of our NFT dashboards. Yeah. Thank you. Always be sound. Thank you.
And just to add that, our next session will be next Tuesday. It will be on fixed income strategies, as well as more about reserve, in case any of you is interested in joining us next week here. Thank you very much. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you to everyone who joined live as well, joined through the live stream. Thank you.
Thank you.